It is funny how we all see things through our own perspective. They had me collaborating with somebody, and I was telling them my story, and we were writing it. And it was like I had read later what they had summed up or how they wrote it. And I was like, oh, that's not how it went. And I just thought it was so fascinating, where it's like, even when telling one story, people still can hear it and perceive it so many different ways. That's what all of this is. That's all of life, right? And how our engagement with love is, with the universe, and how we're perceiving it. And even when collaborating with another, even saying the words outside your mouth doesn't mean that's how it's going to be heard or perceived, which we know from, vibrational frequency and from perspective and from many things. And that's why there's so many different stories out there, even though we're all telling the exact same one. It's like how our heart opened and closed and opened and closed. And maybe that's it. The third time it opens, it stays open or it stays closed. I don't know. There was something more they were sharing. It was, being open to receiving a different perspective as well, right? Because, I was telling the story the way it was, and then it was painted a different way when I read it. The way I was then perceiving what was written was like a more negative or dark than I saw it, and more negative and dark than I was even telling it. And I had pointed that out. I'm like, I don't see it as that sad or dark or malicious or whatnot. But that's interesting. That's how you took it. And I don't want that said that way. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want it to be perceived that way, right? Like, because that can sometimes go into victimhood and such. And yet it's like finding that balance, especially when we're collaborating with others, where you want to see as true and as clear as you can, in that, we always want to be true and clear within oneself, how it's for our highest and best and as clear as we can see it, so we're honest and true, so we can move forward freely. And yet sometimes we need the perspective shift or the understanding. It was to balance it out. It was almost like the way they were showing it, it was almost like I was maybe a tinge too rose-colored, and they wanted me to take that last film of rose off and see it for what it was, even though seeing it for what it was can be hurtful, and it can be painful at times to see that hard truth. We don't have to sit there or live in that victimhood or blame or pain or whatever the case may be, but we do have to see clearly and honestly, so that we don't keep, it's like giving that free pass. And so I think it was showing that like fine line and balance within oneself always. And I do tend to want to lean more on the rosy side. I want to think good. I want to think, all these things, because it fucking feels better than the alternative. And it's still having to have that one balance within oneself, where even if you lean that way, don't bring those along who you have to always lean that way, because then it's like forcing it or dragging, versus it is what it is. So it's like, see it for what it is and let it go. If it doesn't feel right or good for you, you just have to be true. And you don't have to like harp on it or paint it rosy, because if you paint it rosy, then you're going to bring it with you, even though ultimately the truth is you don't like it, it doesn't feel good. I think that's probably said clearer. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you would like to support this channel, you can find more information in the notes below.